Well, here we go again for the third time in as many days. Ladies and gentlemen, Behind the Line proudly presents to you another exciting edition of The Woke! Turning on the woke. This episode is brought to you by Jealousy Junction. Are you green with envy in a society plagued with mythical racism? Do you experience constant feelings of bitterness due to the success of others and your own personal huge embarrassing failure? If envy is preventing you from being able to function, contact the professionals at Jealousy Junction. All counselors at Jealousy Junction receive PhDs from Woke U. People who successfully complete our programs, they go on to live normal, healthy lives as a huge embarrassing failure. Right now, we are running an exclusive special. Submit your vote for Cam and your membership fees will be paid by government programs. Contact us today at jealousyjunction.com. Oh, the original pooper swooper. She is overcome with jealousy of Caitlin Clark again. You know, part of me understands the jealousy, the resentment with Sheryl Swoopes, better known as employee number one in the WNBA dump, the one and only original pooper swooper. Amongst the half dozen people who actually follow the WNBA, Sheryl Swoopes, she is considered a legend. To the friends and family who actually recognize her, the original swooper, she is legendary. Now, to her credit, Sheryl Swoopes was a phenomenal basketball player. The problem is, no one cares. And that's what I think bothers Sheryl Swoopes. I believe that is 100% of the reason that she does not like Caitlin Clark. This young white girl from Iowa, she burst onto the scene and she accomplishes something in her first month of pretend basketball that Sheryl Swoopes, she was not able to accomplish throughout her career. Caitlin Clark made the WNBA mainstream. Caitlin Clark made the WNBA relevant. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Last week, Sheryl Swoopes was talking about the Indiana Felines and their push for the playoffs on her podcast titled Queens of the Court. Well, KC, I didn't know Sheryl Swoopes had a podcast. Yeah, neither did anyone else. Here on YouTube, she averages about 1,000 views per video, which makes sense when you think about it. It looks like Sherry's podcast is officially sponsored by the WNBA. The Dump is allergic to drawing ratings on television, so it only makes sense that a podcast dedicated to covering the Dump struggles to draw an audience here on YouTube. This is why I was incredibly confused when Stephen A. Smith did Sheryl Swoopes a favor on Friday by addressing comments that she made on her shitty podcast that no one is listening to. As you'll see here in just a second, instead of Sherry being appreciative, instead of Sherry showing her gratitude to Stevie, she did what most WNBA dump divers do in the rare cases that they receive attention from the mainstream media. Sheryl Swoopes, she lashed out at Stephen A. Smith, likely ensuring that he never talks about her again. Last week, Sheryl Swoopes, she's talking about the Indiana Felines and their push for the playoffs. The anonymous players in Indiana, they are hoping Caitlin Clark can lead them to the WNBA Finals so they have access to the golden toilet during the off-season, instead of the usual accommodations of having to share the porta potties. But as Sherry is talking about the Felines' winning streak, she keeps mentioning players that no one's ever heard of. Ooh, Lexington Hall is phenomenal. Felicia Boston is incredible. Did you see Mitchell Kelsey and her double-double last week? That was absolutely amazing! And who? Who in the hell are you talking about? No, Sherry, I didn't see that double-double last week. I don't waste my time watching pretend basketball, but even if I did, I'm not really impressed by double-doubles in the WNBA. For those that don't know, A double-double in the WNBA. It's a bit different. It's not the same as a double-double in the NBA. In the NBA, a player reaches a double-double by having double digits in two areas between points, rebounds, and assists, or in some cases, blocks. Now, in the dump, all a player has to do to reach a double-double is have double digits in one category. For example, if Lexington Hull plays 10 minutes in a game, the WNBA considers that to be a double-double. During her analytical breakdown of the Indiana felines, Sheryl Swoopes, she was praising and recognizing all these players, but she conveniently fails to mention Caitlin Clark. Well, that's strange. That would be like Shannon Sharpe. Hey, it's me, Shay Shay. That would be like Shannon Sharpe talking about the Lakers and failing to mention LeBron James. It would be like me talking about my Pelicans and not mentioning Zion Williamson. When you're talking about teams, especially in a star-driven sport like basketball, most people, they are going to talk about the stars. Not Sheryl Swoopes, though. No. Why give credit to Caitlin Clark? Why talk about Caitlin Clark when you can praise these other unknown players that no one's ever heard of? No wonder Sheryl Swoopes can't draw flies to a fresh turd on this painfully boring podcast. Friday, Stephen A. Smith did Sheryl Swoopes a favor and he addressed her jealousy of Caitlin Clark. Now, of course, Stevie, he didn't refer to it as jealousy. He's a bit more respectful than I am, but I'm just calling it like I see it. But watch for yourself.
Here's what Sheryl Swoopes had to say. I think the Olympic break really helped Indiana. I'm going to shout out to Lexi Hull. I'm a big Lexi Hull fan. Lexi Hull shot the leather off the ball in their game against Seattle. Kelsey Mitchell is just stroking. She's just shooting the basketball. Aaliyah Boston, almost a triple-double. So no, Caitlin Clark. Sheryl Swoopes. No, Caitlin Clark. Do you have any idea how that makes you look? You have any idea how that serves to stain any kind of critique of Caitlin Clark, because that gives fodder to those who believe she's being hated on and ostracized to some degree? Do you realize that, Sheryl Swoopes, you're insane to do that?
While I appreciate Stephen A. Smith and his willingness to call out this bullshit, let me take a second to correct him. Sherry's failure to mention Caitlin Clark, it doesn't stain her critiques. What it does is stain her credibility, which I guess doesn't matter because Sheryl Swoopes no longer has credibility, at least when it comes to Caitlin Clark. Have you guys noticed that all these women in the mainstream media who were jealous of Caitlin Clark, who were constantly criticizing her, have you noticed that most of these ladies have vanished from the mainstream? Where the hell is Monica McDougal or Monica McDonald? Whatever the hell her name is. Do you guys remember her? She parlayed her criticism of Caitlin Clark into an appearance on The Daily Show with Jon Stu on Comedy Central. Her 15 minutes of fame, it lasted all of 15 seconds. There was another lady on First Take. She was constantly criticizing Caitlin Clark. I can't remember her name, but doesn't matter what her name is because she vanished too. Same thing with Sheryl Swoopes. If it wasn't for Stephen A. Smith bringing this up on Friday, no one would know about it. No one is watching this shitty podcast. Literally, no one. Stephen A. Smith gave Sheryl Swoopes free publicity. He put her back into the mainstream, a place that she hasn't been for months. Now, you would think the original Pooper Swooper would be appreciative. Even though Stevie was critical, you would think that Sheryl Swoopes would appreciate the attention. No. Check it out for yourself. I'm mentioning these unknown players because I know them personally. They deserve recognition too. Stevie is just mad because my girl, Monica McDougal, put him in his place. Stevie is a meanie and a coward. Sheryl Swoopes challenged Stephen A. Smith by inviting herself onto his show. I mean, she damn sure couldn't invite Stephen A. on her own show because he wouldn't know where to find it. If I were Stephen A. Smith, I wouldn't accept this invitation. I would not invite Sherry onto my show. You know what I would do if I were Stephen A. Smith? Nothing. I would never mention Sheryl Swoopes again. You're going to call me a coward because I pointed out your clear bias against Caitlin Clark? You're going to call me a coward because I highlighted your jealousy? No one is listening to your shitty podcast. I did you a favor by even bringing this up. Sheryl Swoopes made these comments about the Indiana Felines last Tuesday, damn near a week ago. No one knew about it. No one cared. Stephen A. Smith talked about it and it was all over social media. And you repay his generosity by calling him a coward? Really? No wonder the media is hesitant to cover the WNBA. Anytime they receive negative coverage, which is damn near every time, they turn themselves into the ultimate victim. Sheryl Swoopes is one of many pushing for Angel Reese to be Rookie of the Year. Now, obviously, that's asinine. Not only should Caitlin Clark be Rookie of the Year, Caitlin Clark, she should be MVP of the entire league. Well, KC, that's ludicrous. What about AJ Wilson? She's having a great season. The Las Vegas Anonymous Faces are the favorites to win the Golden Toilet for the third consecutive year. Yet no one cares. Let me tell you the difference between Caitlin Clark and Asia Wilson. Let me tell you the difference between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. When the Chicago Bravado play Caitlin Clark, the arena sold out. Game will draw 2 million viewers on television. Same thing with the Anonymous Faces when they play Caitlin Clark. But if you remove Caitlin Clark from the equation and the Chicago Bravado play the Anonymous Faces, no one gives a shit. Angel Reese, she can be removed from the equation. AJ Wilson can be removed from the equation. The other 143 players in the league, they can be removed from the equation. Caitlin Clark is the equation. Without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA does not exist in the mainstream, which is why she should be league MVP in her rookie season. Because Caitlin Clark has accomplished what no other player in the past 30 years has been able to accomplish. Caitlin Clark made the WNBA relevant. But give me your thoughts on this. Sheryl Swoopes gets in her feelings. She allows her emotions to take over, and she criticizes Stephen A. Smith for having the audacity to notice her. Is it any wonder why this league struggles to draw an audience? What would you do if you were Stephen A. Smith? Would you invite Sheryl Swoopes onto your show, or would you do what I would do, ignore her and never mention her again? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.